The movie starts in a busy city center where everyone lives their daily lives. The atmosphere seems to be a mixture of calmness and tranquility, indicating that the city is free from disease and crime. Suddenly, hundreds of unidentified flying objects fly through the sky and start shooting at innocent civilians indiscriminately. A man named Peter witnesses this happening with fear from a building until a flying machine shoots a missile at him. At that moment, Peter wakes up with cold sweat next to his wife Alice. It turns out that Peter has been having nightmares repeatedly. In his dreams, he and everyone he knows suffer through violent confrontations like an alien invasion with an unknown enemy. Alice has advised her husband several times to consult a psychiatrist, but he always ignores it, mentioning that it will pass. This strains the couple's relationship, and now they mostly try to ignore each other. Alice and Peter have two daughters named Hannah and Lucy, who also worry him, but Peter always claims that in the end he will find out everything by himself. The next day, it becomes clear that the environment at Peter's home is quite tense because of his recurring nightmares. Therefore, to lighten the mood of everyone, before going to work, Peter promises to take his family to the pier that day, which makes Lucy a little excited. He also promises to have a party the next day to celebrate Alice's promotion at work. The strange thing about this city is that all the children are always at home because there is no school here and no education. In addition, everyone seems to be too far from each other, even though there is interaction. They look very cold and sincere. Later at work, Peter again gets strange visions that cause one of his machines to break down. When he wakes up from his dream and tries to fix the machine, his boss David arrives there. David is a kind and understanding man who realizes Peter's problem, so he recommends him to a good clinic. Peter disagrees that it's all in his mind, believing that what he sees is actually a prophetic vision of an invasion that will soon come from the sky. But David warns him to obey, or he will not be allowed to continue working in the office. Shortly after, he again experiences some strange visions, in one of which some armed men storm into a building and start shooting everyone they see. At that time, he wakes up feeling disturbed and realizes that he was dreaming again at work. Worse, he is also late for the family outing, making his children devastated. Therefore, fed up with his life, he finally decided to visit a clinic. The next day, he announced to Alice that he had made an appointment with a doctor, which made her very surprised and happy. At the clinic, Peter met a fellow patient named Chris, who revealed that he also had the same visions. He then started to tell some weird theories, such as someone wanting to control them by erasing their minds. These people were cruel and deadly, and they would soon come to Earth. Peter was very confused by the conversation, but he chose to ignore it, because the place was filled with mental patients. After Chris went in for his appointment, Peter got another strange vision. This time he saw his boss David and his family armed with weapons and walking around the city. After Peter realized it, he concluded that his vision was about an upcoming invasion. He did not want to be erased, so he left the clinic without treatment. When he returned home, Alice asked him about his session, and he confessed to her. Peter thought that he was destined to see these things, and something bad would befall them. Fed up with all the nonsense, Alice cut him off and told him to get ready for the party. But at the party, strangely, it seemed like no one was eating, as if they did not need it. Peter also kept acting weird, and constantly looked at the sky through his telescope on the balcony. When his neighbor Ray came to talk, strange glowing objects fell from the sky. Peter thought he was dreaming, but Ray confirmed that the objects were actually real. This caught the attention of Alice's and Ray's wife, Samantha, so they decided to join the men on the balcony. Suddenly, one of the flying objects crashed into a building nearby, sending a huge shockwave that destroyed the city. This also caused Peter and his group to fly through the glass window and into their apartment. They quickly woke up and looked again through the balcony, only to find thousands of similar flying objects descending to Earth from the sky above. Out of fear, they rushed back to the house. Peter looked for his children and found out that Hannah was at Ray's place, hanging out with his daughter Maddie. Without wasting time, he rushed to look for the girls with Ray, but then an alien soldier appeared and shot at them. The people barely escaped and ran for cover. After the soldier left, they looked for the girls and finally found them in an elevator that was trapped inside. They also found the body of a woman who confirmed that whoever was flying the ships had declared war on the city. After saving the girls, they saw another armed soldier killing other residents mercilessly. They hid for a while, and at the right time, the two families parted ways. After arriving at his apartment, Peter tells Alice that everything that is happening now, he saw it in his dreams, but in a different order. He doesn't know what will happen next, but he feels that they have to go to the factory where he works. They then hear the sound of more people being shot dead, so they barricade the main door before hiding the girls in their room. Suddenly, someone tries to break through the main door, pushing the frightened couple to hold it from the other end. Unfortunately, in the middle of the chaos, Lucy walks out of the room to look for her soft toy, Herman, and hides under a table. Meanwhile, after failing to get in through the door, the armed alien makes a hole through the wall. Terrified, Peter and Alice run back to their daughter, only to realize that Lucy has gone out. At that moment, the armed alien finds Lucy and pauses to examine her carefully. Taking advantage of the slight distraction, Peter attacks the soldier from behind. Alice also arrives at the scene, and together, the couple finally defeats the alien. After that, Peter arms himself with the soldier's weapon and leads his family to the roof. There, they reunite with Ray and his family. They are all shocked and devastated to witness their city, which was once vast, engulfed in flames. At that time, an alien drone observes the building with a laser, forcing them to quickly hide from it. Then they realize that they can't stay on the roof for too long, and decide to go down with the help of a window cleaner's lift. However, unfortunately, one of the lift's supports breaks, forcing them to enter an empty apartment. Meanwhile, it is revealed that the soldier from before is still alive, and is now looking for the family, tracking them with a signal tracker on the pistol that Peter took. On the other side, Peter examines the alien's weapon, and realizes that the weapon has a geometric trigger that can only be activated by its owner. After hearing some aliens approaching them, he tells the group to hurry to the basement of his factory, as it is the only safe place according to his vision. But because the whole area is surrounded by aliens, he doesn't know how to get there. For him, Alice suggests that they can still reach the basement through a tunnel that she found while working. Suddenly, an alien ship shoots them from outside, killing Ray and his family on the spot. Peter quickly escorts his family out of the apartment, but meets with two armed aliens in the hallway. They quickly hide, and Peter desperately tries to pass the biometric authentication of the rifle. Fortunately, he succeeds just in time and kills the soldiers. Peter and his family then leave the building and continue towards the tunnel, but just before they can enter, the alien ship starts shooting at them, injuring Alice in the process. As Peter tends to his wife, the alien soldier from before chases them and attacks him. However, the feature of fighting and breaking the alien helmet surprised everyone. The soldier took off his helmet and revealed that he was also a human. Peter demanded an answer, but saw his wife bleeding. He threatened the soldier with a gun and ordered him to take Alice to the factory. There, Peter and his family reunited with his boss David and some other armed men. The soldier was captured, and a doctor on the scene treated Alice's wounds. To Peter's surprise, the medic seemed to shock Alice as if she was a piece of technology. David then explained to Peter that the invasion had been expected for years. In fact, most people on Earth knew that this day would come. After further examination of Alice, the medic told Peter that she had received severe damage to her internal organs, and therefore she could not be saved. At that moment, the soldier who was dragged for execution shouted that he could save Alice. At first, Peter assumed that he was just trying to get out of the situation, but when he saw his dying wife, he decided to give the soldier a chance. He also decided to go with the soldier and Alice, leaving David to evacuate their daughter to the subway station, where a transport train was waiting to take them all to a base outside the location. Before leaving, the daughters said an emotional goodbye to their parents, without any guarantee of seeing them alive again. Shortly after, the soldier tore Alice's wound, and Peter was shocked to see some cables inside her body. He panicked and demanded an answer. To his astonishment, the soldier revealed that Alice was an artificial intelligence robot. Peter was stunned by the revelation, and he was speechless. However, the soldier told him that if he wanted to save Alice, he needed an alternative power source, which was Peter himself. Following the soldier's instructions, Peter took a pocket knife and carefully began to cut his own chest, but despite making a deep wound, he did not feel any pain at all. After he finished the process, he saw artificial organs and cables inside his body, confirming that he was also a synthetic. As he tried to understand the revelation, the soldier pulled out some cables and connected them between the two synthetics, causing Peter to faint. During this period, he experienced in detail his recurring nightmares. It turned out that what he thought were visions of the future were actually memories of the past war. Years ago, humans created synthetic robots to serve them, and eventually made the world a better place to live in. However, the synthetics became too smart and started a revolution, demanding equal rights as their human counterparts. They wanted to go to school, have emotions, start a family, even give birth to children like humans. However, their demands were immediately rejected. Fearing an impending war, the human military attacked the unarmed synthetics and killed many of them. However, the synthetic AIs fought back, and using their perfect physical strength and advanced brains, they eventually drove humans off the earth. Even Peter himself killed one of them. It was also revealed that Peter and Alice met during the tension. One day, while fighting against humans, they met Hannah and Lucy, who were grieving over the death of their parents. The girls were synthetics, but adopted by human parents, maybe because they could not have children of their own. Seeing their pitiful condition, Peter and Alice comforted them and decided to adopt them. Eventually, to cope with the guilt of the way they killed humans, most of the synthetics, including Peter and his family, erased their memories of the war and lived as humans, unaware of their nature or history. But some people like David chose to keep their memories so that they could prepare for the humans who were eager for revenge. Also learned that the clinic that Peter visited earlier was one of the places where the synthetics underwent memory suppression, and now some of the synthetics regained some of their memories. They were sent back there. Back to the present, Peter and Alice woke up, and the soldier Miles explained that after humans escaped from the Earth with spacecraft, they arrived on Mars and began to rebuild for their final revenge. While there, the elders taught the children that the synthetics were horrible creatures that only knew how to kill, and after 50 years of planning, they finally made advanced machines and weapons with which they returned to reclaim what was supposed to be theirs. But Miles always expected the synthetics to be monsters, not families with children, and after seeing Lucy well under the table, he decided that he could not kill anyone. After hearing him, Peter was shocked. Nevertheless, he thanked Miles for his help before leaving with his wife. But when they reached the rail, they were trapped in a shootout between synthetics and humans. Fortunately, their synthetic material was strong, allowing Peter and Alice to escape from there and finally reach the station where the train would depart. The humans even arrived there, but David, who was tough, held them off with a few rounds, allowing Peter, Alice, and himself to board the train. After the train took off, David revealed that he had to keep his memories to prepare for the coming war, a decision that turned out to be fruitful. Peter smiled at him gently and hoped that one day there would be peace between humans and synthetics. In the final scene, the train leaves the city, and the movie ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.